Hi guys! Today we're going to be trying something a little bit new, seeing as we've run out of past videos. Today we're going to try some casual geographic, as many of you have commented to try out. So, let's get into it.
Evolution is a named Emily. That's it, that's the whole intro. Don't get me wrong, the concept of evolution is pretty cool. It's the reason giraffes get to flex their high in the entire—
Wait. Why is evolution called Emily? Why is her name Emily? Just out of curiosity?
animal kingdom. But there are just times where nature and evolution decide to team up and absolutely hoe an animal's entire existence. So here are 10 animals that I personally think got done the dirtiest. It's not exactly in order, but obviously some animals are gonna—
What? That's not real. I'm not gonna say it's AI. I'm not gonna say it's AI. I don't think it's AI, but that cannot be real. The fucking tusks? There's no way. There's no way that's real. There's no way.
Get violated more flagrantly than others. And I say that because if this list were actually in order, the octopus would probably medal at the Oppression Olympics for— well, let me explain. Octopus are highly intelligent, and scientists believe they have the same cognitive ability as a 2-year-old human.
I was gonna say, yeah, I thought octopi were like really smart. Like, really smart. From what I remember, at least.
That seem impressive, but that means octopus are on the same IQ level as some dogs. They're even smart enough to use tools, whether it's using the tentacles of the venomous man-o-war as a weapon, which they actually do, or carrying a coconut around to keep as a travel-sized panic room.
Oh my god.
But
that's so fucking clever. Holy shit. They're always like thinking like 4D chess right there. Holy. Because with the suckers, they could just keep it and put— that's big brain. That's so big brain.
Being smart is the only thing they have going for them. First of all, most octopus come into the world as orphans. The mother octopus will spend months guarding and washing her nursery of up to 50,000 eggs. Since it's too dangerous to leave them alone, and since there's no daycare underwater, she often won't eat the entire time. Which means once the clutch of eggs are finally ready to hatch, the mother is starving and ready to become initials on a Twitter bio.
Oh god, okay.
In fact, that's when it starts. These babies the size of a grain of rice have to figure out life in an ocean full of animals that'll actually—
sorry, a grain of rice? A grain of rice? I know like babies are small, but holy shit.
Try to put an end to it. It's so bad that out of the 50,000 children, if more than 2 survive to adulthood, it's considered overachieving. That honestly wouldn't be a big deal if nature didn't already nerf them with their lifespan. It's so ridiculously short that a majority of octopus species that live life to the fullest still won't be alive for their first birthday. Being an octopus means you can be born on New Year's, have a midlife crisis by June, only to be a memory by October.
Sorry, just a lot of information to take in all at once. I have a feeling we're going to be stopping this a lot. Holy... So, it's a good thing if 2 out of the 1,000 survive, and they only live for like a year at most? Holy heck.
Being an animal high intelligence just to cut its life after 1 to 2 years just seems like an intentional dick move.
Yeah.
And because they have no shell or no armor, they'd honestly be lucky to live that long. Having no real way to defend themselves means a good number of them end up a sea lion's chew toy or a dolphin's frisbee. To be fair, octopus do have camouflage. In some cases, highly toxic venom. But for the—
yeah, from Paz's video, I know about that one. I know specifically about that one, guy.
For the most part, they get bodied by most of the ocean. And to add insult to injury, every octopus you see is probably a virgin, because once they get laid, they die. We already saw what happens to the mother, but where did daddy at? Once the male octopus mates, he basically just gives up on life. The male octopus that's catched in his V-car will swim around catatonically until he either gets torn apart by predators or dies of starvation as his body falls apart due to senescence. Not like it really matters because most female octopus are bigger than the male.
Condition of deterioration. Interesting.
But one thing's for sure, if his date doesn't put him out of commission, his post-nut clarity will. Octopus don't live long before
it fucking sucks being an octopus. What the fuck? I genuinely have no idea how horrific it is for them. I actually feel sorry for the poor guys.
The months they're alive, their entire existence is a jihad. Now you know why Squidward couldn't give up if it paid him. But at least with the octopus, it just seems to be really bad luck. They may be a victim of circumstance, but at least you get the idea that nature didn't go out of its way to screw them. Not like with this bird. Kiwi bird is probably the best.
No, they're adorable. Look at the little guy. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him and tell me he's not adorable. Do it. Tell me he's not adorable.
Proof that evolution ain't perfect. This tiny bird is actually part of the rat-type family. And this cookout includes ostriches, emus, cassowaries,
I remember this. I remember this from Paz.
This bird that shares its name with a fruit is about 18 inches tall and no more than 7 pounds. It's kind of like having cousins 6'3", 6'4", and 6'6", yet you came out looking like Tory Lanez. Like your
Okay, okay. He makes a good point. He makes a very, very good point. That you're essentially nothing in compared to your cousins.
Family's tall enough to fit in an NBA locker room, yet you get it from a chair and stay the same height. But of course, nature wasn't done screwing with this bird because, like its relatives,
Oh yeah, so
they can't
rearrange its
fly.
organs.
Totally flightless, and despite being related to ostriches, a Jurassic reject, and a bird that literally won a war against
Jurassic
Australia,
reject.
kiwi's about as defenseless as the fruit that got named after it. Basically, you're
Oh
looking at a
no.
bird that can't bird. The kiwi is such light work that they can only survive on islands without any mammalian predators because they're really a couple stray cats away from being put in the history books. And somehow, that's not it. Because nature
Really hope that bird didn't die. I really, really, really hope it didn't get ate. I really, really hope it didn't get
shrunk
ate.
everything about this bird. Everything except the eggs they have to push out of their body.
Yeah,
Despite
that
being
makes
about 60
no
times
sense
smaller,
to
kiwis have
me.
to deal with eggs nearly the same size as an ostrich's. And at 20%
Yeah,
of their
it's
body weight, that would be like the
insane.
average woman birthing a 35-pound baby with the same equipment. It's such a
Sorry, just the mental image of that is horrific.
hell
Holy
to live that the
shit.
egg actually rearranges the bird's organs and stretches its rib cage. There's too many things wrong with them for me not to
Jesus
think nature had
Christ.
serious beef with this bird. Especially when you
Okay.
realize the kiwi's closest ancestor was the elephant bird, which was about 10 feet, 1,600 pounds.
Oh my
so yeah,
god.
they got nerfed bad. At least they didn't get hit as hard as, say, the sloth.
Okay, okay. I realize now, being this little guy is just fucking shit too. I feel like that's gonna be a running theme with this video. Bro, evolution is just so weird. So weird. It gave it no... Okay, so I'm sure somebody in the comments can tell me, but they didn't build, like... Was it around on a place in the world where it had no natural predators, like the dodo? That's the only reason I can think as to why evolution gave it no offensive capabilities.
For being completely honest here, the sloth has almost nothing going for it. Because they insisted
I
on
know
eating
nothing
nothing but
about these
leaves, their diet
guys.
makes them one of the slowest animals on the planet. Because they
I know
physically
that
can't
much,
afford to
yeah.
spend energy they don't have, because going into debt would mean death. It's to the point where baby
Oh.
sloths have to quite literally hold on for dear life, because if it falls to the jungle floor, the mother likely won't waste the energy trying to get it back. And that's because
Oh,
if you're
shit.
a sloth, leaving this tree is the most dangerous thing you'll ever do. Sloths only poop about once a week, and when they do, they'll climb out of the tree and get on the ground to do it. Why they don't just drop a deuce from the trees, I couldn't tell you. Nobody knows what goes on.
Once a week. Once a week. I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna leave that there.
But this means about half of all sloth deaths involve getting clapped on the toilet like Elvis. One thing sloths have going for them is that they're so mind-numbingly slow that algae actually grows on them, giving them free camouflage. There's a
No,
catch.
no
There is
shot,
always a
no.
catch. When one of
No,
your
no,
biggest
no.
ops is an eagle with quite literally some of the best eyes in the world, wearing a moss blanket
Oh,
isn't
God,
gonna amount
yeah.
to too much. And you know evolution was actively f***ing with them because sloths are actually really good swimmers and can hold their breath for 40 minutes, longer than dolphins and seals.
40
But it means
minutes? What the
almost nothing when
fuck?
most of the time they go swimming is by accident when they fall out of a tree. And that weak-ass
Oh.
doggy paddle might save them from drowning, but it won't save them from getting murked by an anaconda or a black caiman. But the really sad part is, sloths could actually be way better than this. Its close relatives, the armadillo and anteater, are able
That's
to put
the
the
big
same
claws
claws that it
too.
has to good use, and anteaters have even been known
Yeah.
to swing on jaguars. You have a homicidal vacuum
Bruh.
cleaner that has put jaguars and people in coffins, and then you have a
Bro.
moss blanket with a face. Just like the
The moss blanket with her face is such an unhinged looking... It's like a cursed looking comment.
kiwi, the sloth used to be better than this. Megatherium, aka the giant ground sloth, was in the same
I've played Ark. I know these things. They fought. They will fuck you
weight
up.
class as elephants, and they actually knew how to use those claws. So much so that if Ice Age were realistic, Sid would have worn Diego's ass like a fur coat. But its massive size ended up screwing it in the end, as they basically got hunted into oblivion by humans, leaving us now with the virtually defenseless, dead-eyed, slower than molasses algae apartment that we call the sloth. You know that thing?
Sorry. You wake up in the morning and this is the first thing you see. What do? Tell me in the comments, what do you do?
Dead-eyed, slower than molasses algae apartment that we call the sloth. You know that thing on
Oh
TV
my
where it's
God.
like someone gets a genie that grants wishes, but only does so in a way that hopefully bends them over in the end, and the moral's supposed to be
Oh,
careful
monkey's
what you wish
paw.
for? That basically sums up this next animal, because it looks like it got finessed by a genie in one of the most disrespectful ways possible. This is a fiddler crab. Male fiddlers have one giant bralette claw whose only
I'm sorry, that name with that build is so... Obviously it's intentional. Obviously it's intentional.
The only purpose is to get a female's attention. Many crabs choose their mate based on who has the biggest claw and therefore can pass the best genes to her clutch of eggs. The problem is, that is literally the only thing this claw is good for. Because that claw is too big to pick up food, the male fiddler crab can only feed himself with that smaller claw. That massive claw is actually a disability that means the males either eat half the food or take twice as long as the females. The only problem with that is that these crabs only eat during low tide, and the longer the crab spends eating, the more likely they are to end up as someone else's main dish. In the evolutionary arms race for female validation, the male fiddler crab is more likely to end up getting eaten by gulls, raccoons, reptiles, and sometimes even bigger crabs. And since the females enable this by being attracted to the bigger but less functional claw.
I'm sorry guys. I know this will annoy some of you, but I have to pause. There's so much information just like shot at you so fast. But right, I need to take this in. Why are they so colorful? For one, like this is a blue crab. I've never seen a blue crab in my life. I've never seen a crab IRL in their life. But that sucks. So this fucking arm is just like a deformed appendage that has no fucking use other than to attract a mate, bro.
The fiddler is now trapped in a vicious cycle. By preferring males with a trait that quite literally gets them put on a shirt, the females indirectly screw the next generation.
Oh my god.
Especially if you're this
god.
Because the peacock has the same problem on steroids. We can all agree that the peacock is the biggest flexor in the animal kingdom. And rightfully so. And just like with the crab and basically every other aspect of life, bigger is most certainly better. The more colorful and eye-catching, the better the peacock's chances at bagging a peahen. They'll even shimmy their tail feathers in a way that hypnotizes any female watching. But like I said, never make a deal with a genie. Because the good news is a peacock showing off will always be the center of attention.
Bro.
The bad news is sometimes that attention comes from a 700-pound assault weapon with stripes. And because those tail feathers are so heavy, not only can't the peacock see behind itself, even if it does see death coming, it takes them longer to get off the ground and out of the tiger's reach. Just like with the crab, the peacock's biggest flex is often what gets it buried. In a cruel twist from fate, the peacocks that are safer from tigers are usually the ones that get less attention from females. So by having a preference, the peahens doom their future children to a fate of ultimately ending up as a tiger's toothpick. The peacock and fiddler both got hit in massive L's from nature, but at least you can see the thought process. Having huge claws and fancy feathers attracts females, so technically it does serve a purpose.
So what I'm gathering is all about sex. This is all this is about. This is well. Okay, maybe not the little chicken dude. I've already forgotten his name. But like the majority, this is just all about reproduction, and it's fucking them over horrendously.
In comparison, the Luna moth got shafted for no reason at all. To make a long story
short, Luna
moths don't have a mouth and therefore can't eat. The only thing keeping them alive is the energy they store as caterpillars, but once that runs out, so does their time. Luna moths live for about a week, just long enough.
So that they're literally on a timer. They literally have a fucking stamina bar, and once that goes, they're dead. That's so fucked up. That's so fucked. Ah, bro, I hate it. Oh, I hate that. I hate it so much. I don't like that. Oh, it's like that one film. I forget what it's called. The one where it's like your lifespan is currency, or whatever. So you have to like pay for like coffee by like giving some of your lifespan away. And they have like the tattoo on the arm that would change and tell them how much life they have. It's like that.
And doom their children to the same fate of a non-consensual hunger strike.
No.
If you ask Google why the Luna moth doesn't have a mouth, it'll tell you because its only purpose is to mate, which is really nature not giving a fraction of a about them.
That's so fucked. Cool. That's so fucked up.
What could possibly be crueler? Well, if you know what this is, you probably have the answer. This is
what the fuck is that?
It's a member of the Caligulae family of copepods.
Wait. I think I know this one. Okay, again, not pre-watched, I promise you. This is the thing that attaches to fish's tongues, right? And it's like a parasite that feeds off the fish's tongue. If I remember correctly, right?
Basically just a bunch of small crustaceans. You probably noticed that for the peacocks and the crabs, it was the guys getting the worst of it. Apparently nature believes in a weird form of equality because right now it's up for the girls. The horror show starts when a male sea louse kidnaps a much smaller female and then forcibly drags her into what I can only describe as a crustacean sex dungeon, where he can have up to 20 other victims also trapped. It's at this moment where this movie loses its rating because the male will forcibly impregnate every last female in his burrow, and this often involves penetrating her abdomen. But don't worry, it gets worse. As her brood of children that she never asked for begin to grow, they decide to start eating their way out. Eventually, the mother's body
Oh my
splits open as a
God.
nursery of psychopaths rush out of her now mutilated husk of a
Oh.
corpse. This might be one of the only times where the babies abort the mother. Doesn't even really get to give birth. Her children just bring
Okay,
her
maybe
death.
it's not
You might be
my
wondering why
fault.
evolution would even give this nonsense the green light.
Yeah,
While the
that sounds
newborn sea lots are
horrifying.
entering an ocean full of danger and having a full meal before they make it out on their own apparently increases their chance of survival. And by cannibalizing their own mother, it's basically a home-cooked meal. Somehow, this isn't even the worst birth on this list.
Okay. I don't. I feel like I don't want to know about the next one. I feel like after that, I feel like I don't want to fucking know about this fucking jackal thing. I don't even know what it is. Bro, I don't want to know. I don't like this video anymore. This is traumatizing. Oh, I thought the past videos were bad. This is just awful. Why? Why on earth? Like, I don't understand. Okay, you said evolutionary, but still, I still don't understand. Why would that be? What? I'm thinking too much. I'm thinking too much. Okay, sorry. I'm just having a crisis. Ignore
That
me.
title belongs to the hyena because straight up death is actually better than what they go through. Female hyenas evolved a
How?
pseudo-penis that's so similar to the real thing, it's actually difficult to tell males and females apart.
I
This
think
is
I'm gonna have to
actually
blur
female.
that. Holy
Only problem
shit.
is, it's not just for show. They actually have to
No,
give birth through
I'm
that
gonna have
thing.
to
And
blur
yes,
this
it's every bit
shit.
as painful as you think. And just to somehow
Oh.
make it even worse relative to the mother's size, hyenas have to give birth to the largest cubs of any carnivore, and they have to do it through a penis. A good amount of first-time mothers don't even survive this because the process involves rupturing and splitting open the pseudo to make it easier for the cub. But the cubs don't get it easy either. About 60% of hyena cubs will suffocate on the way out and become past tense before technically even joining the present.
Okay, freaking fantastic freeze frame there. We're not freezing on that. Holy shit. I genuinely don't know if I can keep watching this. This is horrific. This is how is this species survived this long? I'm trying to provide like commentary, but like I'm just sitting here just being mind blown. This is horrific. This is actually awful. Bro, I don't even know I want to finish this. Can we like move on to some? Okay, we get something else in a minute.
Joining the present. And you would think because this directly affects the mother and the cub.
I've got to wear this shit. I've got to wear this shit.
Nature and Lion King have something in common when it comes to doing hyenas dirty.
Oh.
But if we're talking about now that got done dirty, this picture kind of speaks for itself. Matter of fact, this is probably going to be the thumbnail because this is nature at its grimiest. A lot of y'all probably knew this animal was coming just from reading the title, but for those of you that didn't, that was the skull of the babirusa. It's a wild pig found in Indonesian islands like Sulawesi. If you already knew that, it's probably because of those teeth. Those tusks.
Why? What does that serve evolutionary? Evolutionary. What does that serve? Evolutionary speaking. I can't say the word. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Chef? What does this? You just gotta like lobotomize yourself. What the fuck?
Penetrate out of its snout, only to do a complete 180 and head right back towards its face. If the male babirusa can't wear down this hellish overbite, or he doesn't lose them in a fight, then the teeth will end up growing right back into his head, penetrating the skull and ultimately piercing the brain. But the worst part of it all is that by the time it gets clapped by its own dental plan, the babirusa's probably already had children and therefore passed on its bullshit to its kids. It's a lot like Parkinson's. Okay, hear me out. The problem with Parkinson's is that it usually develops late in life, usually around the age of 60. And patients can have it for years without being diagnosed. So by the time they do find out, it's possible they could have already had kids and grandkids that they could have passed.
I never considered that. I never ever considered that. Holy shit. Holy shit. That's horrifying.
Off to. See the problem, right? The only good thing is that it's somewhat rare for a child to inherit Parkinson's from their parents. The babirusa, not so lucky. And as long as females find big tusks attractive, and as long as the tusks only murk them after they've had babies, this pig is going to be screwed eternally, and evolution can't even stop it. But when you talk about being sodomized by the fleshy phallus of nature, you're probably talking about cheetahs. If you watch Tier Zoo, if you're watching this, you probably do. You probably heard him say
no, but I'm going to watch it.
That either need to be buffed or just vaulted out of their misery. I love cheetahs, I really do, but out of every animal on this list, evolution might have bodied the
very
cheetah
pretty.
the hardest, and for one simple reason. Cheetahs are really fast.
Yeah.
That is all they have. Cheetahs are a textbook example of why you should never dump all your evolution points in one skill, because you'll just get bent over in every other aspect of life. Because they're
See, I always thought I don't know much about animals, as you can probably tell. I always thought cheetahs were like predators and like really dangerous. I know they're fast as fuck, but that's about it.
Built for speed and absolutely nothing else. Cheetahs often get bullied by other
Bro.
predators, especially lions and hyenas. And because cheetahs have to expend so much energy just to make a kill, it forces them to rest right after, which makes it really easy for other animals to just step in and run their pockets.
Oh.
But for real, if you're a cat and a bird that literally only eats the dead is able to run you off, you got a lot of problems. Worst part is, cheetahs could easily avoid all of this. Leopards are also lightweight, solitary hunters that occasionally get their food stolen, but they're able to carry their kills up in trees where they can't get harassed by scavengers.
Way.
But in the evolutionary race for speed, cheetahs evolved non-retractable claws to use as cleats to keep traction while running. Which is why cheetahs can't climb trees, so they gotta get violated on the ground. Cheetahs are such pushovers that one hyena can successfully rob several cheetahs right in their face and then dare them to do.
No, don't they like travel in like packs? Not herds, yeah, but packs or something? No. There's no way they're this shit. I am being, this video's blown my mind and it's already, been like 12 minutes in? What the fuck? I've always thought cheetahs were like super dangerous and like, S tier when it comes to tigers and lions and all that shit. Like, I thought they were up there, but no. My world is shifting right now.
Cheetahs compromised everything for speed, so now they get to speed run through life. About 70% of cheetah cubs born in the wild will be 6 feet under before their first birthday. Just to add on
look
to that,
at the babies.
Thanks to genetic bottleneck, a majority of the cheetah population is highly inbred. What you're looking at is a cat that doesn't really know how to cat. Because instead of roaring like lions, tigers, and leopards, the best they can do is chirp like a bird. Matter of fact, if you YouTube it real quick, you'll find they make every sound that isn't a roar.
Oh my god, okay,
and that's how you know evolution.
They just can't.
Cheetahs have been around for about 3 million years and decided they were just gonna IM speed their way through life. And because of that, unless it's a 100-meter dash or a bird call contest, this overgrown house cat loses every single time. Obviously, there's a lot of good things about the cheetah, but not nearly enough to justify the abuse they go through. Which is probably why a majority of cheetahs in captivity experience severe anxiety so bad that it prevents them from mating and they need an emotional support.
Oh no, babies, no. That broke me. Oh no,
Cute, don't get me wrong, but it's another reason why cheetahs are dangerously close to being the pandas of cats, and that's not something anyone wants to be. And don't get it twisted, I don't enjoy roasting cheetahs. I actually really love them, but if nature has favorites, this cheetah's mascot isn't one of them. And those are 10 animals that got the middle finger from evolution. I'm not gonna lie to you, this video was low-key a pain to make. So if you like the video and you'd like to support this channel, my Patreon's gonna be in the description, but please, don't give money if you can't afford it. Because honestly, I don't need money. I just wanted to cover my addiction. Subscribing doesn't cost you anything, so
come on, we got a feeling of Wendy's addiction. Bro. Oh god. I see deep sea. Something ocean related might be night chat because that horrifies me, but oh my god. I had no idea that like 90% of this shit and my world has just been turned upside down. I am now a different person than what I was before I watched this video. Holy shit, bro. Holy shit.